Well, Woofus and I have a bad habit of embarrassing the hell out of Tom every year, and it's not hard to do because it's basically just us showing video of him embarrassing himself. So, but for those of you that haven't known Tom very long, chances are, I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there, if it wasn't for Tom, none of us would be sitting here right now, if you think about it. So, and now go ahead and clap, and then I'll explain why. I've known Tom for probably 15 years. No. Tom started 2600 in Nashville back when we were in middle school? High school. And he came up to a couple of us one day and he said, "Hey guys, we're going to start having 2600 meetings." And we all just looked at each other and looked at Tom, and I said, "That's a lot of meetings. What the fuck are we going to talk about?" And Tom just shook his head and he said, "You guys just show up at Bellevue Mall Friday night." I think there was like 5 of us. And within an hour, we'd been kicked out of where we were sitting. So that trend continues. But so Tom started the whole thing as far as I'm concerned, and had it not been for him, who knows? A lot of people wouldn't have the jobs they have. A lot of people wouldn't, well, some of the people that were married to some of the people they have gotten out of those situations, so that's probably a better thing. But what charges is that, Nick? Nick, I don't care what they tell you in New Jersey. It's legal in Tennessee, man. You go ahead and tell us. Go ahead. Okay. All right. Well, obviously you've noticed the alien theme for PhreakNIC this year. And, well, I'm beginning to think it's a Tigger theme, but... Oh, we've remixed the alien video, but we've also... bits and pieces. But, Tom, when we made that video has everybody seen the little Dolomite Decius roast we did 3-4 years ago?
No. These are all new people.
Does the website work?
No, apparently not.
Are you all on dial-up? What's the... Okay. Well, we made a video a couple years ago of Decius drunk in the back parking lot of Flying Saucer, and he got on a rant about aliens and said that at PhreakNIC 12 they were going to eat all of us. And
that's 0x1b.
Well, we made a video. We embarrassed Tom a couple years ago, and since it's the year before we're supposed to get eaten by the aliens, we kind of remixed it a little bit. Yeah, we remixed it basically last night and added in some new footage that Tom made 5 years ago that he's never even seen, so this ought to be interesting. But I'm going to go ahead and hit play and, like I said, be ready for the speakers to pop. But, Tom, I'm sorry. Dagmar, I'm even more sorry. Worked a second ago.
Kodak.
What's up, guys? I was just using it. Went dead. Laptop's playing it. You know, it's funny. It's worked every year but this year, so don't look at me. Trevor says it'll work.
There we go.
Trevor was correct.
I know you like me. I know you do. That's why whenever I come around, she's all over you. I know you want it. It's easy to see. And in the back of your mind, I know you should be on with me. Don't you wish your girlfriend was hot like me? Don't you wish your girlfriend was a freak like me? Don't you? Don't you? Don't you wish your girlfriend was raw like me? Don't you wish your girlfriend was fun like me? Don't you? Don't you? Fight the feeling. Leave it alone. Cause if it ain't love, it just ain't enough to leave a happy home. Let's keep it friendly. You have to play fair. See, I don't care, but I know she ain't gon' want to share. Don't you wish your girlfriend was a freak like me? Like me? Don't you? Don't you, baby? Don't you? Alright, sing. Don't you wish your girlfriend was raw like me? Raw. Don't you wish your girlfriend was fun like me? Don't you?
Okay, I see how it's going down.
Don't you?
Seem like Shorty want a little menage to pop over something. Let's go. Well, let me get straight to it. A broad won't watch it. When I come to it, the God Almighty looking all brand new. A Shorty wanna jump in my ass, then Van Jewish. Looking at me all like you really want to do it. Try to put it on me till I'm black and bluish. When I play with a player girl and play on, trip out the Chanel and leave the lingerie on. Watch me and I'ma watch you at the same time. Looking like you won't break my back. You're the very reason why I keep a pack of the Magnum. And with the wag, get you in the back of the Magnum. For the record, don't think it was something you did. Shorty, you all on me cause it's hard to resist the kid. I got an idea that's dope for y'all. Y'all can get cool, I can hit the boat for y'all. Don't worry about it.
Don't you wish your girlfriend was hot like me? Don't you wish your girlfriend was a freak like me? Like me? Don't you? Don't you, baby? Don't you? Alright, sing. Don't you wish your girlfriend was raw like me? Don't you wish your girlfriend was fun like me?
Oh, this is where you go. Great.
One day I'm gonna wake up and all this shit's gonna be over.
Hi, my name's Tom. I'm drunk. Welcome to PhreakNIC 7. If you're more sober than I am, hold on. You suck. Seriously, get drunk now. Yeah, that's all I got, really. Whatever.
But we're gonna be food.
What?
We're gonna be food.
Seriously, the fucking aliens? We already talked about the aliens. I mean, if you didn't go to PhreakNIC 6 and find out about the fucking aliens, then, whatever, you're fucked. Because, you're new and you showed up for PhreakNIC 7 figuring that you would get the information, but, too bad. The information about the aliens was at PhreakNIC 6. This is PhreakNIC 7. It's time to get drunk. It's just for alcohol consumption. That's it. Whatever. No aliens this time. The aliens will come later.
You missed out on the information. You're not going to be prepared. That's because you suck.
But you've got to say we're going to be food, man.
No, I mean, I already gave the information about the aliens, like, for PhreakNIC 6. And the people that went to the people at this PhreakNIC, they you know, whatever. They don't get the information about the aliens, the food, you know, I mean, how we're going to be eaten by the aliens, you know, whatever. I mean, that was information for people at PhreakNIC 6. They're prepared to deal with the alien invasion. That's because they showed up for PhreakNIC 6, and that is their privilege as attendees of PhreakNIC 6. The attendees of PhreakNIC 7, they don't get information about the aliens because they suck. They didn't show up for the, like, before PhreakNICs, where, like, the information was distributed. Do we have an understanding here?
Is use us for food, okay? And it's going to happen, and, you know, people are just hanging out like everything's cool, and they're still watching TV, and they're not doing anything about it. And, like, I mean, it's obvious that it's going to come down, man. The shit's going to come down, and we can, like, don't fuck with my light, man. So, like, we can do something if we all organize and get together to defend ourselves against them. But if y'all keep fucking around, man, we're gonna be food. We're gonna be dinner. Okay? I'm serious. I mean it.
You was the goddamn spammer. People be fucking with you, man. They'll be ready for your ass. You come to PhreakNIC, man. They're gonna find you. They're gonna fuck your shit up because you took like a fucking meg off that goddamn hard drive. What are you thinking, man? What the fuck?
Year 128. I'll raise you.
Industrial memetics right here. This is the wave of the future. You should call now. That's www.mainstream.net.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. And you should reserve your room for PhreakNIC while supplies last.
What is a Sony video lens optical 15x? 1 equals 3.6 minus 54 millimeters. That's not true. That is incorrect. 1:1.6 037. Is it really handy? Because it's called a handy cam. And it says it's 420x digital zoom with optical 15x.
All right, Matt. Am I through making an ass of myself now? Have you got enough footage?
I'm getting there. I'm good.
The information terrorist. Information terrorist. Information terrorist.
Alrighty, like I said, we got bored. So, anyway, if that doesn't give any of you that didn't know Decius before a little bit of a dose of what he's like, and actually, I gotta say, as far as the last couple years, this is the first rant I've seen you show up to drunk. Normally you get drunk during the rant.
No, I'm trashed now. Usually I'm drunk. Now I'm fucked.
Normally he has a cooler on wheels that he shows up to the rant with. I think they took care of that at the restaurant down the street. So I don't know why this microphone says Timball on it, but you can have it.
I don't know if I want it now. So now that I have absolutely no credibility whatsoever,
Hi, my name's Tom. And I'm drunk. And I'm an alcoholic. Woo! Yeah! All right. No. I'm not through with my talk yet. You get to ask questions after the talk. No, go ahead. This guy is awesome. This guy is a legend. This is Hardwares. Hells yeah. It's Decius. I don't know how the Romans pronounced it, and I don't fucking care. Well, who's making noise? That's not me. I don't know. Someone's making noise. Woo! Okay.
Check.
Tim's mom is way more useful than this microphone. And did you see Mike's talk at the... All right, I'm not even going to get into that. So, where am I going to start? So, I'm more drunk than I expected to be. For the last few years, I've talked about this whole NSA surveillance thing, so I'm going to try to talk about that again. And I'm pretty much on autopilot at this point because I'm fucking trashed. What has happened this year in the NSA surveillance scandal? There's three things that are interesting. I thought this story would pretty much be, bright light. There's a person, thank you. How many people here have watched the IT Crowd? Yeah! That's a low fucking percentage. What the fuck is the matter with the rest of you? How many of you know the goth that lives in the server room? That's funny. Yes, excellent. All right, so he needs darkness. I should have a bunch of alcohol here, and I got a bunch of Coke instead. Where do I start? So, how many of you know who Comey is? Do you know? No one fucking knows. Do you know who Ashcroft is? Yes. Jesus Christ. Do you know what job he doesn't have anymore? Yes. Okay, so they decided to get rid of that guy. He used to be the Attorney General of the United States, and he's not anymore. And they had a bunch of hearings about that. And during the hearings, they had this guy named Comey show up. Now, while Ashcroft was the Attorney General, and what's his fucking name? Gonzalez was the what? What was he when Ashcroft was the Attorney General? He was like the White House General Counsel, right? No, that's way back in the day. This is I'm talking yes, he was the General Counsel of the President. There's this crazy dramatic story, fucking, Oliver Stone is going to do this shit, and it's going to involve mushrooms. It's Ashcroft is on his deathbed in the hospital, and Comey is there, and fucking Gonzalez. Comey has given Gonzalez this opinion where he was like, dude, you can't do that. That's totally unconstitutional. And I'm not being clear about what that is because it's not fucking clear, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But whatever it is, Comey was like, you can't do that. That's fucking unconstitutional. And Comey was like the backup because Ashcroft was on his deathbed in the fucking hospital. And so Gonzalez was like, fuck that, dude. Fuck you. You're some bitch. I'm going to go talk to Ashcroft myself. I'm going to go to the hospital. I'm going to call Ashcroft's wife. And I'm going to be like, I'm coming to the hospital. And Ashcroft's wife is all like, dude, my husband is dying. Seriously, can you fuck off right now? And Gonzalez is going to be like, fuck you, I'm going to the hospital. And so he goes to the hospital, right? And Ashcroft is apparently about to die. And Comey walks in because he gets wind of this, and he's like, holy shit, they're going to the hospital. They're going to ask Ashcroft. And, there's this moment And this is the thing. This is one of my messages. I'd have presented this in a more coherent way if I was less drunk. But just because someone has principles does not mean that their principles are the same as yours. People get so torn up in this partisan bullshit, and they're like, the other side of the political spectrum, those people have babies for breakfast, blah, 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 blah. The fact is, he might be on the other side of the spectrum, and people are like, I don't agree with that guy, he's a jerk, da-da-da-da. And then this thing happens, and they're like, whoa, he's not completely evil. He doesn't eat babies. He must agree with everything that I think. People have this very black and white fucking conception of politics, and this is a very, very good example of why that completely doesn't make any sense. So Ashcroft is there, and no one who was in the room has really admitted what this was about, right? Comey testified about this in Congress, and he refused to say what it was that was the subject of discussion. Ashcroft's on his deathbed. Gonzalez shows up, and he asks Ashcroft if the Department of Justice will give the president permission to do this thing, whatever it is. And Comey has already said no. And Ashcroft says, he points at Comey, and he says, that is the Attorney General. You will do what he says. And there's all these people on the left who are like, oh, Ashcroft, man, he's a fucking civil libertarian. He stood up to fucking Gonzalez, man. Awesome. He was... No. See, this is the thing. I think they got it wrong. Comey is the guy who did his testimony in Congress. You guys have me jacked up way the fuck too high. So, Comey is the guy in Congress who did this testimony. These are Cokes. Do you understand? These are Coca-Colas. They don't even have cocaine in them anymore. So, look, it's being done. It's being done. What the heck? No, I'm not touching that shit. That's blue. Okay. Thank you. And what? I'll give it a sip. Holy shit, that's so... Woo! Wow. Oh my god. That's like fucking paint thinner and like... I don't know. Alright, so what were we talking about? So, fucking Ashcroft. So, no, seriously, I'm lost. So, they're in the hospital, and they're in the hospital, and Ashcroft is like, Comey's the fucking Attorney General. Comey told the story in front of Congress, and if you go read the goddamn testimony, and I did read the goddamn testimony, at no point does Comey explain what fucking program they were talking about. Al Inspector, the Republican guy in the committee, is all like, you're talking about the NSA surveillance program. And Comey's like, I don't want to discuss or confirm or deny, blah, blah, blah. And then from that point on, Al Inspector's like, the NSA surveillance program, blah, blah, blah. Al Inspector wasn't in the room. Comey never says whether or not that's the program he's talking about, or, go read it. And later on, like 6 months later, the press is all like, Comey said blah, 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 NSA surveillance program, da-da-da-da. And he never said that. It could be a completely different program. And here's the key. Here's the bottom line. Ashcroft and apparently like a plethora of other people who worked in the Department of Justice were prepared to resign because they were so freaked out about what was happening. And there's all these people on the left who are like, they're heroes. They were willing to resign in order to defend our civil liberties. Look, dude, let me explain. Ashcroft don't give a fuck about your civil liberties. He's the same fucking guy you knew a few years ago. This is the guy who said that there are no legitimate criticisms of the Patriot Act. The reason that the ACLU is criticizing the Patriot Act is because they're trying to raise money. National press said that. Okay? This guy is not a fucking libertarian. So if he is so freaked out about what the fuck is going on, it's fucked up. I'm not saying he's not a civil libertarian. That doesn't mean he eats babies. Okay? He has some principle. There's some line he's unwilling to cross. Okay? It's not my line. My line's over here. Ashcroft's line is over there. And Bush's line is way the fuck over there. Okay? The left is just as bad as the right. I'm angry at the right. You cut me off, you fuckers. I'm angry at the right because they're in charge right now. 2 years from now, I'll be angry at the left. Just wait. Okay, so here's Comey. I'm confused. Here's Ashcroft. Bush is over here. Bush. So there's all these people who are like, Ashcroft is a civil libertarian. He defended us, blah, 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 blah. Ashcroft, I'm sure he's a good person. Deep in his heart, he wants to do what's right for the country. He served as the fucking Attorney General of the United States. Have you served as the Attorney General for the United States? No, because you suck. Okay? He is better than you. Look at this guy. You know, seriously. Okay? That orange guy back there. I'm a racist. I called him orange. So, look, the fact is, okay, I'm insane. Sure. Well, all I'm saying is, Ashcroft is not an evil person. He just doesn't share my principles. And this is a key factor. When you see Ashcroft stand up for something, and you know that Ashcroft is the kind of guy who says the ACLU's just in it for the money, because there's lots of money in being an attorney that defends civil liberties, let me tell you. Not someone who shares my personal, opinion, but nevertheless someone with principle. How many people here support Ron Paul? A handful. That's good, because I'm going to talk a lot of shit about Ron Paul, and there's a limited number of you, so I'm not going to get hurt that badly. Ron Paul to me is heartening because it's reactionary. It's a reactionary movement, and it's very radical, but it's pro-freedom. It's a freedom-oriented thing, and so that's good, because in other countries, when they have like a reactionary movement, they're like, let's put a bunch of people in gas chambers. Okay, in the United States, when we have a reactionary movement where they're like, let's defend the Constitution. So that's great. Okay, I'm less afraid of Americans than like I would be if we were somewhere else. But the fact that I disagree, the fact that I like think that Ron Paul has principles, and I think that he does, and I think that's the reason that he's attractive to people, does not mean that I agree with those principles. Ron Paul is like the Howard Dean of this election season. See, everyone starts laughing. You know what? You're going to be laughing about Ron Paul in 2 years. You know why? Because the media will provide you a reason for it. Fucking in 2005, 2004, Howard Dean was really cool. There were all these net people who thought he was interesting. He had all these innovative ideas that cut across partisan boundaries. He was the next big thing. All these people on the internet were organizing. You could download the fucking video off some dude's website. Blah 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 blah. Howard Dean did it. See, now I've got alcohol that isn't going to fucking make me blind. Thank you, Anna. What is that? Apfel wine? No, that is fucking whiskey. What is this? What is this? Red Bull and vodka, I can deal with that. I don't know what that is. I think it's antifreeze and fucking Everclear. Anyway. This would be much more coherent if I was way more sober. In any event, So the thing is that, like, back in the day, Howard Dean, you know, blah, 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 blah. And what happened is this. What happened is he became really popular. He became very powerful. Al Gore was going to give him his votes for the Democratic Party nomination. That's serious shit, because Al Gore has a lot of power in the Democratic Party. He has a lot of votes to hand out. And so this guy had the potential to be the Democratic Party nominee. And he built it grassroots on the internet, right? And so they had to fuck him. And so they gave you a reason to make fun of him. And so they found him being an idiot on television, and they replayed that clip over and over and over and over again. Yeah! Right? So, as far as you're concerned now, he's a fucking dipshit. This is the reason I will never run for office, but I don't care. Because I'm not part of the conspiracy, so it really, I'm not going to run for office anyway. The thing is that everyone laughs at Howard Dean. And he's a joke, right? That's what's going to happen to Ron Paul. And I think the Republicans underestimate Ron Paul. I think they underestimate the internet. I think just the way the Democrats did a few years ago, Ron Paul's going to have a lot more support than they expect. He's going to, and it's not because people agree with his policies. It's because they look at the guy and they see a person with principles, and they don't understand what those principles are or whether or not those principles are the same as the principles that they have, but they say, that guy's not a liar. So I'm going to support him, and I'm going to believe that whatever principles I have, I'm going to believe that he shares them, and he's going to become a successful character, and he's going to get a lot of support, and then they're going to have to fuck him. They're going to have to fuck him. I think that's what's going to happen. I think it's going to be like Howard Dean. There's going to be some incident wherein everyone's like, oh, Howard Dean, he's a joker. He said the stupid thing. Did you hear about blah, blah, blah? And then no one will take him seriously. Just as you do not take Howard Dean seriously today. That's what's going to happen. They're going to take him down. How many of you read 27B/6 or whatever the fuck it is? This is Wired blog. Nick is the only one. You should read memestreams.net, which I'm under the impression is unavailable from the network here, because the people that control PhreakNIC are trying to control your mind. We post a lot of content from this blog at Wired, which is run by one Kevin Polson, who got arrested for stealing Porsches from a radio station, and this other guy, Ryan something or other, hacker scene, I don't know. But in any event, they tend to cover, the surveillance state. And they actually filed a bunch of Freedom of Information Act requests with the lawyers that work for the president, trying to figure out whether or not the president had done a legal analysis of what was involved in terms of not having an election in 2008. And turns out all of his lawyers say we haven't looked at that. So hopefully there will be an election in 2008, and that's just a left-wing conspiracy. But we'll see. We'll see. They don't have nukes. I don't want to get into this. I've been arguing on meme streams about this for a while. What else did I want? So I want to talk about this NSA shit, because I think this is pretty relevant to this community. We're interested in surveillance. I talked about Comey. Basically, the bottom line in all of this shit is that, Comey never admitted that the NSA program that we're aware of is the program that he was talking about that Ashcroft was willing to resign over. He never admitted it. There are other people who implicated that as being the situation, but if you look at the details, if you read between the fucking lines, no one who was under oath ever actually said that that was the situation. I don't think it is. Now, let me finish that took too long. Look, the bottom line is that Ashcroft doesn't believe there's any problem with the Patriot Act, thinks the ACLU did it for the money. That guy, if that guy was so fucking concerned that he was prepared to resign, I think the situation was way more fucked up than we were listening to a couple of suspected terrorists without a warrant. Okay? That's my view. That's one of the three things that has happened so far this year. The second thing is not that interesting. There's this bill that got passed that was a 6-month authorization for the NSA to continue their surveillance. And here's the problem. Let's say you're an NSA guy in Iraq. There's an Iraqi insurgent. You start monitoring him. 8 out of 9 calls that he makes go to other Iraqi insurgents. And then the 9th call that he makes goes to, like, California. Do you stop listening? You're in California. Do you need a warrant to listen to this fucking call? So that's the debate, right? The issue is, the argument is that the NSA should not have to have a warrant to monitor Iraqi insurgents in Iraq, even if they call the United States. That's the administration's point. They passed this law to enable the NSA to do that, and the way that it's written essentially allows the NSA to listen to any phone call wherein one of the parties is a foreigner. And that's really not what people want. And so there's this debate. But the fact is the president kind of got caught breaking the law. So I think that what ends up happening with that debate is going to be reasonable. So I'm not so concerned about it. I was really thinking this was ultimately not going to be that big of a deal until about a week ago. And what happened a week ago was that the CEO of, what was it, Quest Communications, in court said that it was about 9 months before the 9/11 attacks when the NSA came to him about monitoring his customers. And he said no. Now, legally, without getting into the morality of this, legally, the legal arguments that have been presented by the Bush administration have with regard to unwarranted surveillance of U.S. citizens, have sort of hinged on the authorization for the use of military force in Afghanistan in the wake of September 11th. The idea is, Al-Qaeda blew up our fucking building. We were pissed off. Congress authorized us to use military force. Part of using military force involves having spies. And so we're spying on Al-Qaeda because we're authorized to engage in war against them, and part of war is spying. So that's reasonable. The problem is this. The spying that they're discussing started a long time before September 11th occurred. And so this whole authorization this whole idea that they're authorized based on this military force authorization in Afghanistan is completely bunk, because they started before that was ever issued, before 9/11 occurred. And so what we're really talking about is, what can the NSA do in peacetime without a warrant? And this literally happened like less than 7 days ago, and it completely changes the character of this discussion. On the one hand, I don't want the government to go crazy and start, shipping people to concentration fucking camps. But at the other hand, I would like the government to listen to Al-Qaeda, right? But if we're talking about, if we take Al-Qaeda off the table, if we take September 11th off the table, and we're just talking about in general, the circumstances are pretty different. And that just happened like a few days ago. It was just revealed that this was the case. There's 2 sources. One of them is this Quest guy. The other is some of the people in the AT&T suit. A bunch of people are getting up and walking away. I mellowed everyone out. Everyone's like, holy shit, that's serious, man. Fuck. I thought I was going to have fun in this talk. I'm like, holy fuck. I can't. This is taking me down, dude. Do you understand how much concentration it takes to talk about this shit when I'm this drunk? You're going to add nudity to this? I mean, you really don't care what I have to say, do you? So, I don't know. That's pretty fucked up. But I got to say, for the last couple of years that I've done this rant, I had slides, I was prepared, I had this sort of set of points that I was prepared to make. This year, not so much. part of the reason I think is that the Democrats are in control of the Congress, but the Republicans are in control of the presidency. And so the government ain't doing shit. And so it's hard to be angry at nothing. Well, there's that, but no, in my mind, I tend to get angry when they do stuff. And so one party has to be in control of both things, and then they start doing things, and that starts making me mad. So it's hard for me to be mad at Decius. Tigger's leaving. He's totally bored with this. He's giving me the finger, I think. I can't see. Tony, I think that's a different tiger. But so this is a little bit less structured than it has been in the last few years. What are you guys interested in me talking about? Where's Maverick? The what? Well, I've talked about that before. That's fucked up. So the first time the state secrets privilege was used was because they were fucking negligent and they were trying to get away with it. And they're like, dude, let's. I found this thing back from like 1647 where there's a state secrets privilege as a part of common law. Let's throw that in the court and see what happens. It was like a last straw. They were fucked. And they were like, state secrets privilege. And the judge was like, okay, yeah, it turns out that you're right. You can do that. What that means is that if you are so in order to have a lawsuit, you have to discuss a bunch of stuff. And the whole basic concept of government is that it would be open, right? You can walk up in the Senate buildings, okay? It's cool. You can roll around there. You can't roll around in my office, but you can roll around in the Senate buildings. It's no problem. As long as you get through the metal detector, you're cool. It's an open system. And so court cases are open. You can read the proceedings. You can read the transcripts. You have this stenographer typing everything in. And so if the purpose of your litigation involves an issue that's classified, such as, George Bush is fucking my brother up the ass because my brother is an alien and it's all part of the thing. And so, right, that's classified information. Both. And so when you go to court and you're like, I'm going to sue George Bush because he keeps fucking my brother up the ass, what George Bush does is he rolls into court and says, the fact that I'm fucking him up the ass is classified. It's a state secret. And so if you have this lawsuit, if you prove that I am in fact fucking him up the ass, you would have revealed that this national security issue is true. And so you can't do that. And so you just can't have this trial. There is none. Let me explain what the check and balance is. It's called impeachment. No, you guys think this is funny, but it's not fucking funny. There was this guy named Mar R. And I'm probably butchering the fuck out of that. But this dude, he's like a guy who was born in Syria. Sorry, dude. He was born in Syria. Moved to Canada, lived in Canada for a while, went on vacation somewhere. Apparently, one of his former roommates in some flat was connected to Al-Qaeda. All right? And so he flies back to Canada, and he's got a connection through New York. And he ends up in Manhattan. And the U.S. Customs is like, dude, your former roommate was connected with Al-Qaeda. We're going to fuck you up the ass. And he's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking. Who? And they're like, they didn't have any evidence. They couldn't detain him. All they had was his former roommate was connected to Al-Qaeda. So what they did is they sent him to Syria because that's where he was born. Syria tortures people. And so they sent him to Syria, and Syria, peeled his fingernails off or whatever the fuck they do. And at the end of the day, they're like, turns out he don't know shit. It just happened to be that he was rooming with the dude. And so they sent him back to fucking Canada, right? No. They mailed him back to Canada in a box. Apparently so. No, so Canada's real pissed off, but the thing is that there's Canadian intelligence's view, and it's actually Canadian intelligence's fault because they told the Americans that he was rooming with this dude. But their Canadian intelligence's view is that there's no connection between this dude and terrorism. American intelligence has a different view, which has never been published. And you know, whatever, the Americans decided to send him to Syria, so he sued, right? He goes into court and he says, fuck you guys, you assholes sent me to Syria, I'm going to sue you, because it's America, and what you do in America is sue people. And so he sues, and he goes into court, and the federal government's like, look, it's a state secret. If it turns out that, you know, we knew this, that, and the other thing, that's classified because it's how we're investigating Al-Qaeda. So you can't try this case. And the court agreed. We can't try this case. And so they kicked it out. Your recourse is that Congress does something. It's real. This is a real guy. This really happened. The recourse is that Congress decides to pay him. No, they're not going to do that. They don't, unless like more than half the people, unless there's a substantial percentage of the electorate that wants the elected officials to act. They're not going to act. It's a constituency that they're buying into. So, if there's a significant percentage of the people in the country that want justice for our, then the Congress will do something for them. Otherwise, they're not going to do something for them. But that's your check and balance. That if enough people in the country get pissed off, that they'll do something for them. You have no structural check and... What do you... Not Larry. No, go ahead. They published a very detailed PDF, which you can read, wherein they concluded in this PDF that he didn't do anything wrong. Syria. Yeah, they're pissed off. The United States court system will not hear his complaint. You understand what I'm saying? The U.S. court system will not hear his complaint. And so his only recourse is Congress. Congress can pass a law saying that we're going to pay this motherfucker $500,000 because we fucked him up the ass. But they're not going to do that. But that's his recourse. That's his only check and balance. Offshored is the correct term, sir. We did. Apparently, they agreed that they were wrong and apologized, but he still sued the United States. No, from Canada. They didn't get an apology from the United States. The question was, if the U.S. fucks you up the ass, and then they claim state secrets privilege when you try to sue them, what is the recourse? I'm using this as an example. In your case, Canada won't be involved. You're just fucked. No, they won't say no, we didn't do it. What they're saying is we can't discuss that because it violates national security, so fuck you, you're fucked. And they did, so the first time they did this, it turns out that they were actually guilty, and they came up with this as a way of getting out of discussing it. So it's a little questionable. If it comes to the point, basically the issue is, this is deep. The rule of law is important. The reason that our society is not fucked up is that when you go to court, it doesn't matter if the dude who hit your fucking car is some poor guy from fucking East Nashville or like the fucking Jenna Bush. The bottom line, so here's the issue. So that's important. That's an important point. But the basic truth is, the basic issue is that if you live in a just society, it doesn't matter if the dude's from East Nashville or he's Jenna Bush. Whoa. You know, you got sideswiped. It's not your fault. It's their fault. They're guilty, right? When it turns out that it does matter that it's Jenna Bush, right, or O.J. Simpson, then it's a fucking problem, right? Because you don't have a justice system. You have a money system. And that's when you have a corrupt government, and that's when things start to fall apart. That's what you have in China. That's what you know, if you get pulled over in Mexico, you got to pay the fucking cop off, right? That's why Mexico is not fucking one of the leading economies on the fucking planet, because they're corrupt as fuck. And if they stopped being corrupt as fuck, they'd be a lot more wealthy than they are, but they have no fucking long-term fucking vision. They have short-term vision, and the short-term vision is, hey, I pulled this dude over, let me fuck him over for $50. You know? If they put a stop to that shit, they might actually be a more wealthy country. But that's the bottom line. That's what it boils down to. How reasonable is shit? I don't know. It's fucking the 50s. You got to look it up, dude. Yeah, it's from the 50s. But that's not that old, right? And they claimed it was this ancient part of fucking English common law. I don't know. The first time I know that it occurred was in the 50s. No, but the thing is that they didn't. The first time they used it, they were fucking guilty as shit, and they came up with it as an excuse to get away with it. It wasn't like they really had secrets that they were really protecting. They were fucking guilty, and they got out of trouble with it. If it turned out that there were real secrets that they were protecting, it was a really big deal, it might be a different story. But in actual reality, they were guilty as shit, and they were getting out of trouble. Because all that shit got declassified like 20, 30 years later. Yeah, no. Yes, you're right. You're right. Just as in the 60s, we didn't know. We don't know today. There could be valid secrets. Yeah, it could be a valid issue. I mean, the reality is that open discussion of sources and methods with regard to terror, that's not an invalid point. I'm not saying that's bullshit. I'm saying it creates a difficult problem with regard to our justice system. No. We have checks and balances. If the federal government says that's a state secret, the judge gets to decide whether or not he agrees. And if the judge disagrees, then it gets appealed to the next judge, who gets to evaluate it, and then it gets appealed again. Well, so technically at the federal level, George Bush or the president at some point, you know, some of these judges have been in office for a long time. The president at some point appointed the judge, and then Congress approved the appointment. Regardless of how low it is, the fucking regular guy who's sitting on the federal circuit in bumfuck Idaho was appointed by the president of the United States and approved by the Congress. Well, no, not necessarily. It could have been 12 presidents ago. The guy could be 108, you know. And he was appointed when he was 9. I mean, a president of the United States appointed this person, and the Congress approved that. And so, you know, if you're a real partisan bastard, you know, you get into, oh, that guy was appointed by Clinton. Well, we understand why he made that decision. You know. What? Apparently I have a plastic card. That's possible. I don't know. I don't want to address that. All I'm saying is that it's real fucked up that a week ago we found out that this whole NSA surveillance thing was actually like way predated the whole 9/11, the whole terrorism problem. The second issue is that John Ashcroft, the guy who said the ACLU is fighting the Patriot Act because they're in it for the money. That guy was so pissed off about whatever the fuck they're doing, which hasn't been disclosed, that he was prepared to resign. There's a bunch of shit going on that's potentially questionable, and that's it. That's what I'm basically saying. What else? You're done. No. What part of I didn't need to get a warrant to surveil these people does not involve throwing away the shit that we got right? Let me explain something. There's a debate going on here. My opinion, and I was drunk when I made these videos. I'm drunk now. My opinion is that the aliens are going to arrive at PhreakNIC 12, and the way I spell 12 is 0x12. And this is what PhreakNIC 0x0b or 1b, whatever 0b. I'm drunk. Shut up. That's not 0x12. There's several PhreakNICs to go. There are other people who have the opinion that when I said 12, I actually meant in decimal 12. Much like Jesus Christ, I have no idea what I meant when I said it. It's open to interpretation. And I'm not going to clarify it. Or provide any proof. That was entirely edited. I never said any of that. That's fucking photoshopped to hell and back. It took them years to produce those videos. That's why the last one was several PhreakNICs ago. I mean, there's a lot. That's a fucking masterpiece of digital editing. There's like a fucking farm of SGI computers somewhere that's rendering the shit out of my photograph. So, and all I'm saying is, you know, it's an open question, and I myself do not know the answer, at least not without a few more beers. What else are you guys interested in? What else is going on? Paint dinner? Jesus Christ. This is Tennessee, not Alabama. Whoa, here's a Ron. This is why Ron Paul will never get elected. Because we've got all these freeways to go from east to west, right? You know, I-40, what else? What the names of freeways to go from east to west, right? Right. Apparently, if we make a freeway that goes from north to south, it's like the end of everything. The Canadians will take over the United States, and all you motherfuckers will have currency with the Queen on the back. Woo! Don't admit that too loudly, dude. This shit's being videotaped. I don't know what the fuck's going on back there. I got a question for you, though. Let me ask you this question. Why is it more reasonable for someone who lives in Maine to do business with someone in Montana than it is for them to do business with someone in Quebec? What's the issue? I am not afraid of the Canadians. That's the bottom line. And I am one. They're not going to take over. Really, they're not. He might sell us a bunch of maple syrup. What is the issue? I'm sorry. So I met this. Everyone has a fiat currency. And so I met this guy who was German who was collecting gold coins because, you know, I'm sure that his grandparents remembered when the currency was worth nothing and they had to take a wheelbarrow full of money in order to buy bread. And so I was talking to him, and I told him that I hope that these things don't happen anymore. And I think that this is a reactionary movement. I think it is. I don't think that this happens anymore. I don't think that our currency is going to collapse. What is M3? This gets very divisive very quickly. That's what I get for talking about politics. You're right. So, what can we talk about that's not related to financial politics? The aliens are going to fuck you right up the ass. What? Well, okay, so you know that Simpsons cartoon where I like there's something about how for some reason they give Homer Simpson control of a nuclear submarine. I don't know what the fuck happened there. And then he sails off to Russia and he ends up hanging out there. And like he shows up and he accidentally breaks the glass on Lenin's tomb and he comes out and he's like, must crush capitalism, and then like all these like tanks and shit, like there's all this just parade in downtown Moscow, and they got this like little bear, and it breaks open and it's actually a tank, and there's all these people marching. You know, that's pretty much what's actually happening. Putin's like, okay, dude, this whole, like, capitalism shit, fuck this, dude. This is fucked up. We're just going to become an authoritarian nightmare again because it worked. It did work for them. It worked really well. And so they're going to do that again. And he's slowly consolidating power so he can... What? I wasn't that a hoax? I thought that was a hoax. There was a hoax. There are times when I wanted to murder some spammers myself. Maybe I should move to Russia. But seriously, they're becoming authoritarian again. They're going to become a nightmare. The Russia that you grow up with, the old Russia that we know and love, it's coming back, baby. Yeah, Red Dawn. I mean, the terrorists are not that dangerous. I mean, come on, what are they going to do? Take over the United States? Give me a fucking break. There's like 800 people in Pakistan somewhere. I'm not really that afraid of them. They might fucking hurt me in particular, but they're not going to take over America. All right, but the Russians could take over America. Okay? There's a lot of fucking Russians, dude. There's a lot of Russians. Hmm? The Chinese. I don't know, dude. Where's Mike the Usurper when I need him? Because I want to debate Iran. I was debating Iran with him on meme streams like yesterday. He should be physically present here so we can debate Iran. What? Oh, well, we got into this argument. So, in my view, the United States, we sanctioned India as a result of their nuclear test, and then this September 11th thing happened, and we loosened the punitive sanctions, but there are other sanctions that we did not loosen because we're not per se interested in giving them nuclear technology. We just kind of have to suck their dick because we need their help. And his view is that we don't care about nuclear non-proliferation in India, and we're planning to arm them, and so that's basically the matter of the dispute. And Pakistan at the same time, because I don't know. Well, Mike's view is that we're trying to help them arm themselves. I thought Iran was one of the sides in Iraq. Here's the big question, dude. Is Kurdistan gonna fucking not Kurdistan? That doesn't exist. Is Turkey gonna fucking march into fucking Iraq? Their parliament passed this shit, but they could just be saber-rattling until they actually start shooting. No. When? As of when? As of yesterday? Are you fucking serious? So is this shit going down? We're fucked, dude. I think if they go into Iraq, that's World War III. The situation pretty much goes out of control at that point. What do you guys? It sounds like I got some agreement with that. I don't know. Yeah. Is there some strategic thing that we're trying to achieve by declaring? I mean, it was genocide, okay, but is there why now? Is there some strategic reason why we're doing this now as opposed to 3 weeks from now or 3 weeks ago? Do you see what I'm saying? I hope that's not the case. I don't actually agree with the fact that we went in, but at the same time, just trying to get us out for the sake of getting us out is not fucking constructive. You think they're going to create Kurdistan? No, I know. That's not happening, Nick. They're not going to let... That's not happening. Do you think that the powers that be wanted the thing that happened this week to happen? Okay. Did you see the email I sent you? I was in Bavaria, and there's a church in downtown Munich which has the little pyramid with the eye in the middle on the top of the church. I'm just saying. Anyway. Anybody got any good news? Hey, all right, nice, good job. Okay, here's the fucked up shit. I'm going to say something I shouldn't say. I'm going to try to do it as cryptically as possible. They think we have crazy advanced technology that solves all the world's energy problems, and we're keeping it a secret. I'm not fucking kidding. If you missed it, you missed it. They fucking think we have crazy magical technology and we're hiding it. And that's the whole story, as far as I understand it. They want magical energy technology where they think we're hiding it. Yes. You missed it. I'm not going to explain that, especially with the microphone. I'm serious. That was, I shouldn't know that. I shouldn't know that. I'm not answering the question. You missed it. I'm sorry. World War III is probably going to happen next week because the fucking... I'm not you laugh. Dude, seriously, this shit happens fast. The fucking jerks in Turkey are going to march down into Iraq. Iran's going to respond. We're going to respond to Iran. Russia's going to respond to us. And then, you know... Yeah! I got to be honest with you. The reason for this alien prediction is because I'm damn sure I'm not going to have to make good on that shit. People are fucking stupid, okay? All I got to say, I was in Germany. It was a wonderful place. They're really, really nice people there. I really liked it. Everyone's really smart. They make stuff that I like. And, like, you know, seriously, they were fucking putting people in a box and, like, setting them on fire. How the fuck does that happen? It fucking, I mean, the reality is that human nature is way more fucked up than we know. And that shit can happen anywhere. What? What was that? What was the story with that? Who? You guys are all saying the same thing at the same time, so I can't hear you. Jen, that sounds familiar. What was the, who are they?
White kids were asking black kids, and black kids were asking white kids. The white kids got off with like misdemeanors. The black kids go to jail.
Yeah, that's not so good. I heard about that. Oh. I need some paper towels, sir, in the front. Clean up on aisle 1. There was some drama on meme streams where the Wiccan girl was concerned about the fact that some people had hung a witch for Halloween. No, if they do, I want one, because that would be cool. Whoa! Whoa! So I don't think this rant was really up to typical standards, and there's a reason for that, and that is that, as I said, the government, there's Democrats in Congress, there's Republicans in the White House. The Democrats can't pass any law the Republicans will veto. And the Republicans can't do anything, pretty much, unless the Democrats approve it. So nothing's happening. And so I'm really not that pissed off. The radicalism is impossible right now, but give it 2 years. And the Democrats are probably going to win the presidential election. Does anyone disagree with that? Really? You think the Republicans are going to win? What party is he? Is that a party? What? This man back here, what did you say? No, go ahead. Make everyone angry. I've heard that. Maybe, I don't know. The English had a female prime minister. No, you're right.
I mean, if there's another woman, it might not be the same thing.
No, you're right. She... we just have Powell? I'd vote for Colin Powell. No, it's already been stated that that's not happening. So, no, I already explained that Wired filed a bunch of Freedom of Information Act requests against the President's Council to determine whether or not... No, they've already stated that that's not happening. It's already been established that that's not going to happen. So anyway, whatever. I'm sorry if this rant wasn't as good as it was in previous years. It was supposed to be tomorrow. I suck. No, there's something else going on tomorrow, but I'm not allowed to explain what it is. We don't know yet. It should. It can. But that is up to you. It is in your hands. All I gotta say is the aliens are gonna come, and if we don't fucking destroy ourselves, they'll destroy us for us. We'll get drunk before they fuck you up the ass. Okay, all right. Now I'm going to piss some people off because you've done it now. You've done it. I didn't really want to talk about this, but I'm pretty fucking trash, and you brought it up, so I'm going to talk about it. Let me explain this. There are 3 options with regard to illegal immigrants. 3. No, 3. Oh, okay. 4. Okay, I'll give you 4. I'll explain what they are. One of them... That was not one of them. Take him out. Security. One of these things is the status quo. I like the status quo. You know why? Because if shit hits the fan, I want to be able to disappear. And if there's a whole bunch of people that fucking live off the grid, then I can live off the grid too. And so I like the fact that there's a bunch of people that live off the grid. I'm in support of that. That's cool with me. That's option number 1. Don't fucking do anything about that because that's fucking fine. That's option number 1. That's what I support. Option number 2 is you make it impossible for people to live off the grid. That was essentially what I would describe as the Bush proposal. Let's document the fuck out of everybody. We're not kicking anybody out. Everyone's cool. There's no problem. We just want to make sure that everyone has paperwork. Now, the law and order kind of security folks, let's not worry about that. What's important is that everyone has paperwork. And they already pay taxes. You could totally pay taxes. You could totally pay taxes without a citizenship. And they want you to, and they do. They pay taxes. What they want to make sure is everyone is documented because then if they're looking for somebody, they can find them. And this is useful if you're trying to track down terrorists. It's also useful if you're trying to track down dissidents. Yes. So in my mind, that's not my ideal thing. It's also the right wing, for some reason, doesn't like that either. They don't want real ID. That's what real ID is. Let's track everybody. That's what real ID is. Neither the radical left or the radical right like real ID. That was Bush's proposal. It got shot down. Why? Amnesty. We don't want those fucking people to be able to stay. So, option number 3 is let's round up 12 million people and kick them out of the country. I thought it was 12 million. Who said 30 million? I don't know. Yeah, no, that's a good point. I don't fucking know. Let me ask you this question. In history, when have 12... This is where I'm really going to start pissing some people off. When have 12 million people been removed from a physical place and everything was cool afterward? No. That's option 4. We're not there yet. Oh. Yes, the Trail of Tears. That was awesome. I totally want to do that again. The other thing was sort of like, Israel? Okay, this is the issue. So the one point, if nobody knows what happened in Israel. Nobody fucking knows. There's some people who say that the Israelis drove everyone out. That's possible. There's some people who say that people in Jordan and Lebanon and Syria kind of said, dudes, it's going to be fucked. You need to leave. And everyone voluntarily left. There was no pressure at all. Several million people left their homes and moved into refugee camps because everything was cool and there was no problem. I hate to be a jerk. That's at least 50% of the historical consensus. I don't fucking know. It seems far-fetched to me, but you know, I'm not an expert on the subject matter, and there's less people who think that that's what happened, and that's the official story. So I don't fucking know. That's pretty controversial shit. But irrespective, there's several million people living in refugee camps, and they keep blowing themselves up, and it's a festering wound that fucks up international politics. It's a fucking problem. I do not want to do that again. Yeah, exactly. Right, great. That's option 4, okay? Option 4 is we build this thing. Panama Canal? You mean consume the United States? No, let me explain something. Let me explain why the United States will never, ever, ever assume any Canadian or Mexican territory ever again. It will never happen again. You know why? The Republicans will never win another election. Because the people who live there will not vote for them. Do you understand? Done. So the thing is that option 4 is we put them in a box and set it on fire. Not going to happen. So, yeah! Woo! Great. So, here's my thing. In my view, I support not doing shit. Because I like the fact that there's no control. I like not fucking having control of the situation because that means I can escape. Let's talk about this offline. No, I actually don't own 4 acres. No, seriously, the true paranoid fucking delusion is I can escape into this netherworld of people who live off the grid. In order for me to escape into that netherworld, there has to be a netherworld. And so, as a result, I don't want to fix the fucking problem. The other side of the equation is, I mean, deeply, there's a lot of people who think we can kick 12 million people out of this country without there being any problems at all. No violence. That'll be fine. I don't buy it. I think it'll be really fucked up. I think a bunch of people will die. Well, that's the question, right? If you're a grid proponent, then it's a problem. If you believe in the grid, then it's an issue. Most of the people who work in the federal government believe in the grid because that's what they do there. Okay? Me, I'm an anarchist. Okay? This is a weirdo conference for weirdo people, and I'm an anarchist. I'm not, so concerned about that. Generally, if I was the president of the United States, I would probably support the Bush plan. Let's document everybody and not kick anybody out, because that's the non-violent way of making sure we have paperwork on everybody. And so when we're looking for Mohammed Jihad such and such, we know where he lives, because everybody's fucking documented in the computer system. The problem with this, really deeply the problem with this, the people who really oppose this are that, I mean, what happened in Germany? They had all these computer systems that they had the census. They determined what everyone's religion was. And they had computer systems that had a file on everyone who lived in the country. And so when they decided, let's round up all the Jews and put them in the gas chamber, they knew exactly who to round up. They had them all in the fucking computer. I mean... who would you hire for a big infrastructural government bureaucracy project? I mean, that's what they do. They're good at that. Yeah, that's right. I am drunk, but that's not what you wanted to say. So my thing is, there's decent reason to be paranoid. You know, don't build this thing that they can use to delete the Jews. I don't think you're going to do that. That's not going to happen here. It's going to be totally different here, and you're going to think it's reasonable when it happens, just as they thought it was reasonable when it happened there. Okay, there's going to be a reasonable argument for it, and you're going to be like, you know, I'm not sure I agree with them, but their argument makes sense to me. You know, just as the German people, their thing was like, I mean, it was a long time ago. The people were a little bit dumber, maybe, because it was fucking, you know, several decades ago. But half the German population was like, you know, I'm not sure I buy into that, but I'm not totally sure it's wrong either. You know, that's how it's going to be. That's when shit really gets fucked up. That's the perspective you're going to have. You're going to be like, yeah, pretty much. It's going to be the same thing. You're going to sleepwalk into fucked up shit. And that's exactly what happened there. You know, they didn't think they were going to be exterminating Jews until they were actually doing it. They were well into the process before they realized that it was a problem. It's like it's a frog boiling, and it wasn't just the victims who were boiling. It was the perpetrators who were boiling too. You know, they were well into the process before they realized that the temperature was hot, and they look back and you read some of the memoirs, and they're like, well, you know, I was just kind of doing my thing in society, and all of a sudden we were exterminating people, and you know, by that time it seemed reasonable. That's how it works. It is. It is. Yes, it can. It can happen everywhere. And it's not because we're different. It's because I'm glad it happened to them and not us. Jesus Christ. That way I can look back at my history and say, hey, we were good guys. But it happened to somebody. It had to happen to somebody. It happened to somebody else. That's cool. But, I mean, it's important that we remember that. So, I don't know. This is done. I'm done. Let's get fucking drunk and have fun. What is your question? Did you say where can you get information beside the MILF? No. I run this website called Meme Streams. There's some news there, but I don't want to have sex with it. Oh, wait, I've got an answer for you. I actually do have an answer for that. I have an answer. You could, but here's the issue. I don't want you to listen to me because I don't know if I really know what I'm talking about. I'm just drunk, and people seem to find that entertaining. But I have this answer for you about that specific question, which is how do we prevent shit from getting fucked up? And I think the answer is no, shut the fuck up. I'm going to finish the sentence. Whoever the hell said that, I don't even know. This is the thing. If you define yourself as a Republican or a Democrat, then clearly you are off the table with regard to politics, right? If I am a politician and I want to recruit you as a voter, then I need to do things that you perceive as being good, right? But if you define yourself as X or you define yourself as a Y, as your identity, as part of your identity, I am a Democrat. That's who I am. Then you're not going to fucking vote for a Republican, right? And so you're off the plate, right? There's no reason for either Democrats or Republicans to do anything that you want because your vote is not up for grabs. They're going to be focused on the people who are up for grabs, right? Whose political issues are a matter of discussion. If you believe that you're on a side and your side is good and the other side is evil, then you're not playing the game. You're out. And they own you at that point. And one side or the other. And that's what they want. They want you both of the guys, regardless of what side they are on, they want you to be on their side in the sort of fundamental identity-based way where you will never cross them. You will never think critically about their shit, and you will never vote for anyone who's not on their side. And if you give them what they want, then you are not useful. If you are unwilling to join with their thing, if you are always up for grabs, if you're always thinking critically, then your interests are always something that they have an interest in serving. And so that's my view. That's my opinion about how to be useful in a democracy. I don't know why you're applauding me. I'm really drunk. I'm not even going to remember what I said tomorrow. No, you won't. But that will. That thing remembers everything. I want more beer and less Coke. What is this? Is this antifreeze really? 151. An antifreeze. Hurricane is red. This is something. It's like tsunami mix or something. It's blue. No. All right, thank you everyone for your time. I hope I didn't bore you. I'm really drunk.